thunk. There went Edward IV. But where? Where did he go? He looks like one of England's better kings, but he has no legacy, and it's very peculiar. It's especially odd because on this date, April 14th, back in 1471, he won the decisive Battle of Barnet, which apparently ended the Wars of the Roses and put him back on the throne that he had occupied from 1461 to 1470, when the hapless Henry VI had a brief resurgence. In the Battle of Barnet, not only did the Yorkists win decisively, but the commander of the Lancaster forces, this is Richard Neville, the Earl of Warwick, the kingmaker and a real troublemaker too, was killed. So Edward gets the throne back, and whereas his first reign was pretty much caught up with the military problems of the Wars of the Roses, the second one isn't. The trouble has died down. And what kind of man is Edward? Well, he's an excellent military leader. He's also a capable administrator. He roots out corruption. He seems to do everything right. The worst knock on him is that instead of marrying with political cunning, he appears to have married out of love. Gee, if that's the worst thing you can say about a man, he's doing pretty well. Well, you could say, well, it seems like once he'd captured Henry VI, he had him murdered. You know, that's a bit rough. He also seems to have had his younger brother George drowned in a butt of Malmsey wine. But you know what? Nobody's perfect. And if it were, it certainly wouldn't have been George, who was himself quite a troublemaker and not very good at it. So there you get Edward. England is on the verge of enormous changes, including, once the Tudors take over, the break with Rome. But Edward comes in with a robust constitutional system, Parliament firmly in charge. Back in 1400, when Henry IV, the first Lancaster, seized the throne, he needed the permission of MPs to become king. Parliament had control of the power of the purse. Everything seemed to be going really well, and Edward was an excellent king, unlike poor Henry VI. He had inherited the throne as an infant from Henry V, who'd frittered his reign away fighting wars in France that were no good to anybody. Henry VI was mentally unstable. He just wasn't up to the job. But Edward seemed excellent. And then he died suddenly in 1483. We don't know of what, typhoid, dysentery, perhaps just of ill health. He'd apparently fallen into a sedentary and somewhat self-indulgent lifestyle. His sons are too young to take the throne. You get Richard III, that business with murdering the princes in the Tower. And then the Tudors come out of nowhere, kill everybody who says, hey, you don't really have a right to be king. They take over. They are aggressive in their assault on the constitutional order. They are greedy. They are rapacious. They want to be absolutists. When their line peters out, you get the Stuarts. It takes a long time to get things to calm down again, and it's so strange, but it does remind us of an important point about governance. That particularly in that field, the good that men do is often turred with their bones. And the evil that they do, or even in Edward's case, the lack of evil, lives on. You cannot be too careful in keeping government under control, because good rulers do you a lot less good, especially a lot less permanent good, than the harm that bad ones do. And they're far too easy to get.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.